Why does this redwood tree have so many broken limbs?
So I'm shooting this video in the long, tall format because this is one long, tall tree. This is a redwood tree and it's part of an old property, an estate property, so it's relatively old for an urban redwood. I'm guessing this tree is probably about 100 years old because the estate that this used to be part of is quite old. And you say, what are you going to do to this tree? Well, there is a fair amount of deadwood up there, and people have trimmed it in the past. And a lot of the branches are like this one, where it was stubbed off, and now it's a multitude of long bits on the ends. And that creates branches that are weaker and more prone to breaking. You can see there's a lot of broken stubs up here, all the way around. My job is to get all the deadwood out and lighten up all the heavy limbs, but leave the tree looking intact. You know, all too often I see people come along and they go chop, 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 thinking they're making the tree safer, or they take the top out of the tree. But what that does is that causes the tree to grow entirely abnormal. Instead of it being these long, flowy branches, now you've got this big puff of growth on the tips of where all the branches are cut back. And over the course of a few years, the tree becomes much more dangerous than had you not done anything at all. So I'm doing some corrective work today and trying to make this tree as safe as possible, get all the deadwood out. They have young children, they don't want it falling on the kids. That's a good example of where this was stubbed off. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shoots coming off of this limb, all trying to make new pieces. And this one actually has been doubled off too. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elongations on this limb. So in the wind, this branch is much more susceptible to breaking. And when it develops a multitude of cones, especially when they're green, that adds significant amount of weight to this one limb. So the point is, that initial cut made this whole branch weaker. And there's a few of them like that throughout the whole tree. There's one. Look at that. So here's what I did on this one branch. I took off this big one here, which is quite heavy, and left this as the new leader, left the side piece here. I took off this piece up here, which was resting on this. That was fairly large. And 2 large cuts over here. And you can see on the ground, all of that came off of this one branch. Now this one branch now is much more appropriately situated for weight. So these additionally heavy limbs, as a result of the tip cutting, has led to all of these branches. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one around the 7 or 8 large limbs snapping off because they were heavy from the past hard pruning, tip pruning. I'm about halfway up in the tree right now, and the rest of it has to climb because I'm at the optimum reach of my bucket truck. And when you get up here, you start seeing all the problems. From the ground, you can't see it. There's a broken limb. There's a broken limb out there. This one's totally dead. There's more stubs around this side. There's a lot of problems going on. I see a branch right there that's coming down, and if I look up at the top of it, the top, you can see that it's cracked and it's ripped all the way back there. So the clean out that we're doing on this tree is not obvious from the ground, but all the things that we are taking care of will A, prolong the life of the tree, B, make it much safer, and C, it'll look a lot better too.
Jorge's up by the very tip top, and I asked him if the tree has ever been topped in the past, and thankfully it has not been topped. It's partly because it was at the back of a big property.
I hate to say it, but most tree trimmers that I see these days do not understand what they're doing when they're pruning a redwood tree. What I see is tip cuts all the way around, or topping, or quite often they'll strip out the inside of the tree to open it up, and they say it to allow the wind to blow through it. Sometimes I see every other limb taken off, and it leaves a real strange looking Dr. Seuss type of a tree. And what that does is that makes all the remaining branches elongate even more so, because all the energy of the tree is going into taking what it has left and making them longer than they should be. If you strip out the inside, then you have these branches that are flip-flopping in the wind. It's best to have more of a balanced, natural shape so that when the wind comes through, the fullness actually dampens the wind, if that makes sense. So we've chipped twice already, and there's still all of this brush. And if you look up the tree, it does not look significantly different. I still have a few more things to do. I didn't get out there. That's one of those stub cuts, and I need to take out about half of that. And I have one over on this side as well. I'm going to move the bucket over on this side and go up and get those. And then I'm going to say, we are done. And it looks really natural. It's not overdone, not stripped out. All the branches are as safe as I could make them. Good job, Ray.